A powerful new film is coming to theaters on August the 2nd. I hope you circle that date on your calendar and not forget it. The film is called The Firing Squad. It's based on the incredible true story of inmates in an Indonesian prison who found hope and faith through Christ, even while living on death row and facing execution by firing squad. You are going to want to see the film. Right now, I want you to welcome the stars of The Firing Squad, actor, writer, producer, and my good friend Kevin Sorbo, and Academy Award winner Cuba Gooding Jr. Let me just begin by saying, I've never had a welcome quite like that when I come out. But there were two of you, so that's why. That's why it was like that. So happy to have both of you
Good to be here.
Yeah.
You know, two of the great actors in our film world today, and that the two of you are in the same film, and it's a faith-based film. If people don't go out and see and support this movie, shame on them.
Yeah. Shame
Right?
on you.
Yeah, sure.
So let's get into it.
Yes, sir.
Yes, you should applaud. Yes, you should. The last place one would think that there would be faith bubbling up is in an Indonesian prison.
Right.
So this is an unlikely place where God finds people and ends up finding a whole lot of people through those that he found.
That's right.
So walk us through a little bit of the plot. Cuba, I'll start with you. Just tell us, when we see this film, what's going to be the most surprising thing about it?
Well, the fact that it's based on true events, Kevin can tell you his character was incarcerated there close to 30-something years before he finally met his demise by a firing squad. And I play, James Barrington and I play an amalgamation of certain aspects of inmates that had been in this prison, characters that had gotten caught up in drugs in Indonesia and then sentenced to death, to set an example for the rest of the world not to bring drugs into the country.
And so, Kevin, when you first saw the script and knew what the film was about, was your first reaction is, yeah, I want to be in it, or nah, nobody will believe that that story really happened?
I was the latter. I said yeah right away. I love true stories.
I do too, yeah.
It's Tim Chater he's directed this. I've known him for a long time. We kept talking about trying to work together. They've worked together before. He did a movie, it was Freedom.
Freedom.
Yeah.
And when I read for the character, my character's an American that was down there in his late 20s. He was surfing. He got in a fight with a local, and he killed him. He got the death sentence down there, and he was in prison for a long time. And during that time, he was a total atheist. He found God, and he became a pastor while he was in prison.
In the prison?
In the prison.
Yeah.
And up until he was executed in 2015, so it's pretty recent, actually. He spent the rest of his life in that prison preaching every day to other inmates and to the guards as well.
And through his ministry in that prison, did it have an impact? I mean, were there other people who came to Christ?
Oh, many. James Barrington, who's really sort of the main focus in this, he reminded me of the way I was when I was in my 20s. I saw this angry kid come in there filled with nothing but hate and anger. And I thought of Hacksaw Ridge, where here's this guy in that movie Mel Gibson did, where he kept saying, please, God, let me save one more before,
Yeah.
And that's what my character did before he was murdered by firing squad. And he saved his life as well. He saved his soul.
And Cuba, I understand that as you've been a part of this film, it has had a profound impact on you on a personal level, just in the renewal of the faith that you've had since you were a child. But this really helped to kind of rekindle that fire.
Yeah, I mean, I played dark characters and light characters. I played O.J. Simpson. I played...
Which one was that?
Yeah, exactly. Nicky Barnes and American Gangster. But I've also had the honor and privilege to play men like Ben Carson in Gifted Hands, Master Chief Carl Bashir in Men of Honor, Dory Miller in Pearl Harbor, the wonderful story of the Tuskegee Airmen in Red Tails and the aforementioned Tuskegee Airmen movie. And so I know that God has given me this gift to bring truth to emotion. And here it was finally another long-awaited opportunity to use my gift to have truth to emotion to a movie that is faith-based that actually services him. So it was one of those moments when I read the script and I said, you know, I'm at a time in my life to let the world know that this is who I am, and this is my foundation, my spiritual foundation.
Beautiful. Beautiful. Kevin, you had mentioned your character actually ends up getting executed by the firing squad. A lot of people probably would say, well, that's a real downer of a movie when one of the main heroes of the film ends up still getting killed. He came to Christ, you'd think, okay, he's going to get off. But he didn't.
Why you tell the end of the movie?
Well, it's called firing.
Well, he already said he was going to. He already said his character got killed off. So there we go.
Well, you kind of brought it up. You kind of brought it up. I mean, that even in a dark place like that, you're on the death row for you know, a murder that you committed. Even in a place like an Indonesian prison, God is there. And I think right now, more than anything, in our hate-filled, divisive, crazy world that we're living in right now, I think people are looking for hope.
When I see faith-based films that are well done in production value, I mean, they're as good as anything else Hollywood is putting out, and they have, I mean, world-renowned actors, and both of you are, Oscar-winning, incredible film career for both of you. What is so important that we need to remind an audience why they need to go buy tickets and support these kind of films? Because if they don't, what happens?
Well, I'll answer that quickly. I mean, the theater owners don't care what they show.
Yeah.
They want to sell popcorn and soda, so they'll keep anything in there. But when we're fighting against Hollywood's big $300 million movies with a $100 million advertising budget, we don't have that kind of budget to throw a trailer on every soap opera, sitcom, and, you know, sporting event. So we need opening weekend, word of mouth. I mean, God's Not Dead is a perfect example of a $2 million movie that made $140 million. And thank you all for watching God's Not Dead. So we need that support. We need people to show up and support these movies because they'll keep it going. And it really comes down to the strong word of mouth.
That's right.
I mean, I'm a film buff. I love movies. I don't really watch, I know this will be a shock to most people, but I don't watch a lot of just TV, sitting around watching TV. I just don't. But I love movies, and I love true stories, and I love movies that don't make me feel like I got to go take a shower once I've seen them because they're so filthy.
Welcome to Hollywood.
Yeah. But I love and that's one of the things about The Firing Squad. This is an inspirational movie.
Yeah.
It challenges me with a real, honest-to-goodness, authentic story. But Cuba, one of the things about this, even in spite of what are some pretty tough moments, the message of this film is not one of despair.
That's right.
It is a message of hope and optimism. And if a person can survive and make it and grow in Christ in an Indonesian prison,
That's right.
they probably can do it in the USA.
That's right, and I believe that's why people go to the movies. You sit there for 2 hours, you might have some horrible medical diagnosis or you're grieving the loss of someone, and you see a story like this where even in their darkest hour, these men find faith and they renew their faith in God. And you say, if they can do that and that, I can deal with what I'm dealing with. And hopefully if the audience can take just a fraction of that away, then we did our job.
Yeah. Well, I think this is going to be one of the favorite films of the people who have followed both of your careers, but excluding Firing Squad, which, again, I want to remind everybody, opens August the 2nd, so start getting your tickets now. Do you have a favorite of your films? You've got lots of them out there.
I mean,
is there one that you just, when you embrace it, you say, boy, that I really enjoy doing that?
I mean, it's always the ones that are based on real people, especially, you know, when I'll never forget when I first read the script to Tuskegee Airmen. I was in my late 20s and was angry that I didn't know that this history, that black men flew P-52 jets in the war and aided to the war effort. And so after that, I sought out these stories of African Americans and their contribution to our country as we know it in the history of our country.
Yeah.
So it would be films like Men of Honor, films like, you know, like I say, Gifted Hands, and even James Robert Radio Kennedy, this mentally handicapped kid that brought so much hope and joy to this Hannah High School. These are the movies that make me the proudest.
Well, they make us all love your acting career, but also love the stories that you portray on the screen. Men of Honor, honestly, I don't know how many times I've seen it. My wife has probably seen it 40 times. It's one of her favorites. And you can't watch that film without weeping. I mean, you just can't. It's just such an inspiration. Yeah. Can I tell you both, you're going to be very proud of this one. It may be one that when people see it, they'll be totally blown away by the story and the message. And your portrayal of the characters in it, absolutely stellar. Thank you for being here. What a thrill and an honor and a pleasure. The Firing Squad opens nationwide on August the 2nd. Here's what I ask you to do. Go to Huckabee.tv. We have a link for tickets so you can go. Also a link for where the theaters are going to be near you and how to buy group tickets for your church, which you should do, for your school, your other group, that maybe you're a small group in your church. But here's another thing. You can make a donation to the Million Souls campaign. What's that do? Provide free tickets to reach 1 million people with this powerful message of Christian faith. Wouldn't you like to be part of that? I think you would. And what a great gift to others to put them in a theater where they're going to see the gospel presented in a powerful way. If you enjoyed this video, I hope you'll consider clicking the subscribe button below and the notification bell next to it so you don't miss any of our future videos when they go up online.